Okay, we are live. All right. So, if you're joining us for the first time, you are welcome. Uh, okay, this is my light. Get us bill. Okay, maybe it's okay like this. All right, you're welcome again. It's opinion sharers, and tonight we're going to be talking about Nigerian youths, especially with reference to the ASUU strike, which has been on for a few days now. And earlier, I think it was yesterday, I was just ruminating and wondering, what the average Nigerian young person is probably going through. And I thought in my mind that, that we should talk about it, you know, that we should, consider it. Just maybe some of us will, a lot of us, I believe that a lot of us, especially people of our generation and below, would be able to resonate. We will be able to understand what they're probably going through. And now, I also have a worry or concern in terms of what's going to happen to these youths. What is the kind of future that awaits them? And perhaps at the end of the day, we look at what's our role in all of this as citizens, as opinion, as a platform opinion sharers, and as individuals who also have opinion, who have been sharing our opinions. So that's why I want us to talk about it. Because personally, when you look at even the ASU strike alone, I think it's becoming, crazy. It's become senseless. I've just seen a news article published by a Vanguard newspaper in Nigeria. It said, ASU strike. This is the headline. ASU strike. We have elected leaders who don't value education. This is said to have been a statement by Prof. Imu Molin. I don't know which of the prof is Imu Molin, you know. So, and I can really relate with that statement that it's perhaps, is it possible that the children of the elite, just like I have my own younger sister, the last born of my mom, who is a student of University of Adokiti, engineering student, and they've been home now for about 3 months. In my own mom's own knowledge, she thinks she doesn't want her to stay at home. So she says she's going to be learning how to plait hair, you know. And I was just wondering, somebody is studying she's studying engineering, right? And you now say she should go and learn how to hairdressing. And I was discussing with my mom. She said, what do you want me to do? She said, but I don't just want her to be sitting down alone when I'm going to school, and then she'll be the only one. And then boys can come and be staying with her and be talking nonsense there. So she wants to get her busy. So I'm just wondering that this is, man. Anyway, so that's one of the motivation for me personally. And I'm sure that other people on this panel also are interested in the topic. So before we go forward to introducing ourselves and starting discussion, let us quickly take a few minutes to share the link as usual. So please do grab your phone and share. Share, share, share. Please, I beg, we beg. And sharing is actually free. So please help us share the link. It will only take a few seconds. I'm going to go to the link now. Facebook. Okay, my system is kind of misbehaving. Okay, let's start introducing ourselves. Village boy, can you please go first?
Thank you very much. It's good to be here again. I am the village boy.
Okay, Tosin.
You are muted.
Hi friends, welcome to the show again. I'm Citizen Oluwatosin, and this issue right here today is my cup of tea.
Yeah, it is our cup of tea, not just only you. Timulain.
Good day, everybody. My name is Timina Yogutiaki, and welcome once again. I'm happy to be here.
Okay, thank you guys. Um, Now, I'm going to start the discussion with Timilean today. And the reason is, again, like anytime we are discussing this kind of discussion, I always try to sample his opinion because he's, at least about 3 or 4 years ago, Timilean was in Nigeria and, has passed through the university experience, at least more recent than any one of us on this platform. So that's why I often like you to answer the question or to answer some key questions. So I want you to just reflect, share your reflection with us with your experience as a Nigerian, as a young Nigerian, passing through the university in Nigeria, not just university, the society generally, and then having studied in Australia, in Canada, where you are still doing your PhD now. I want us to share. I want you to share with us what comes to mind naturally.
Thanks very much. So this is a very good question that is going to put me in a reflective mode. Studying in Nigeria in the last, I think I finished my bachelor's in 2017, and what I can just say generally is that considering the topic of today is that ASUU strike has a very long history in the Nigerian education system, and I think I was also at a receiving end two different times. First in 2013, 2014, that the strike went on for like 6 months. And then again, when I was supposed to graduate in 2017, there was another 4 to 5 months strike. So I was very fortunate in terms of time because most students talk about the delay. They don't talk about the ripple effect these strikes have on their education, on their career, on their plans, and on their future. In my own case, I was fortunate enough to attend a university like FUTA, where they try to make up for all the losses. If there was also strike for like 6 months, then FUTA will make sure that in the next couple of years they meet up to be on schedule as planned for like 4 or 5 years. So they want to meet up, and that didn't go without an effect. That means that some semesters that were supposed to be like 4 months or 5 months long, they were going to be 2.5 months. So that tells you the kind of education we received at that time. Even though the lecturers, the administrators, and the management of the university tried all they could to salvage situations, it still wouldn't go without effect, and the effects were not palatable. So now studying in Canada, I think one thing that always comes to my mind is that I am envious of students that have their bachelor's done here. Honestly speaking, it goes beyond the time. You will say people are on schedule. We still see people that fail here. They were supposed to graduate in 4 years, but they fail. That's their own cup of tea. They fail. But the point is that the kind of education they receive is more concrete. It is deep rooted. So whether you failed 2 or 3 times, the truth is whatever certificate you have, you really earned it. So you would say you would there are still differences. You would say this person is bright, this other person is not so bright. But the truth is the minimum that you would require of a graduate, they will still exhibit such minimum criteria. So I really would say I am envious of people who studied here from the very beginning, because again, it is different to study at the postgraduate level here and at the undergraduate level. It is quite different. What we are doing is just trying to have a specialty, trying to have let me say, better grip of an advanced level of education, but the foundation is still very, very important, and it tells a lot. When we take graduate courses, we still have issues that we deal with as graduate students. That is because when we did such courses that were supposed to be prerequisites in our own country, they were not properly done, or something happened like ASUU strike, or there is just one lecturer somewhere that will just decide not to come to school until 2 3 weeks before exam, and then rush us through the whole thing, by saying we should come to school around 5 p.m. and leave around 11 p.m. in the night. And this kind of environment are not good for students to develop in, and then especially students who really, for people go to school for many reasons in Nigeria, but very few, I mean a handful, go to school for the sole purpose of finding a purpose. They really want to learn, and I think I fell into that category. I didn't study geology as a novice. I went there with information in my mind. It was an informed decision. I already finished my national diploma when I went to geology, so I really knew what I wanted. So it was kind of disappointing in the first 2 years. What I expected was not what I ordered was not what I got. But I'm still thankful for the kind of university I attended because of the mentorship. I'm thankful for that university and that particular department for the kind of instructors that I had. Some of them were really, really, really helpful by telling me what to do so that I could compete at the global level. So, but not everybody had this opportunity. So that would be all for now.
All right, thank you, Timileyin. You see, when I'm talking about people who studied in Nigeria, sometimes, because somehow I consider some of us as quote and unquote privileged. Like Timileyin, to an extent, Timileyin is privileged. All right, regardless, you may not have been the son of Atiku, or or the son of Fashola, but the truth is that the majority who do not have such opportunity, perhaps by the reason of their upbringing, perhaps by the kind of environment they grow up in, by the kind of parents that they have, I don't know, because it's like it is going to be more competitive. When I was in school in Nigeria, I thought it was competitive, but now I feel like it is going to be much more competitive. So let me pick Village Boy's brain. As per this ASUU, like Tirina said, it's no longer new, but for how long?
For how long? The truth is that it was also not like this before. During our time, you can say, okay, you literally can say, I'm going for a 4-year course, I'm going for a 5-year course, and I can literally go and finish on time and do whatever it is necessary. I think it is if my brain is sounds me right, it's after this HAP issue of 1986 that we started seeing a incessant strike. I think that was the one that happened around 88. That's almost like 9 months. So because they were protesting the SAP or whatever something there. So, and a lot of the fact that so many people, so many students, their trajectory of life just changed completely because of this ASUU strike. I could recollect one of my cousins living with me then, had to one morning say, look, I should register him for ICANN. And the cycle of ICANN was about 6 months. And he attended lecture and wrote two diets, we call it diets. He wrote 2 exams where ASUU was still on strike. That's almost like a year. But consider it other people that maybe they are in a kind of a profession that does not have that kind of professional exam and all that attached to it, or even when they have they can write prayers and they don't have the wherewithal to do that, it becomes a problem. So that is from what Paul was saying at the beginning. I really do not blame the mother for asking the daughter to engage in something meaningful. Is it? Maybe I'm thinking now because I'm here. There's dignity of labor. She's looking at it. Address. Somebody that is in STEM, which is in high demand all over the world. How can she now be doing hairdressing? I think everywhere there's dignity of labor. The truth is that if she find herself in a foreign country where we have black people, black women, that second profession, so to say, is a profession on its own, can become a very good mind to her. So I don't think that the attitude towards that is right. Now, there are so many issues. For me, how passionate I am about education. One of the things that we should do is to take education from the exclusive list of the federal government. Federal government should not be controlling education. And one of the things that we have to disband JAMB. JAMB has no usefulness. In our time, each university, each polytechnic, each college of education conduct their own exam. They admit their own people. They are self-administered. Then JAMB came and put everybody together. And even the most annoying thing is that they now brought even private university under the umbrella of JAMB. For what? You will see even ASUU is on strike. Students maybe who just enter at 100 level may not have learned anything, but JAMB is already conducting another exam. It's just more like a money-making venture these days. They are just making money off the student. So the one that they are just be admitted have not done anything. They have been sent back home. Then you are writing another exam for another intake. It doesn't make sense. So if you go back, if you remove the hand of federal government from it, because this issue of uniform platform, payment platform, is because federal government controls everything. In a situation whereby state control university, yeah, there could be some federal university as always been. This kind of bandwagon effect, just like we advocated on electricity. If there's a problem with the University of Ibadan, why should University go on strike? They don't have to. Because you can say, okay, UI, ABU, UNN, UNILAG, these are federal universities. Whatever they want to do with federal government, let them do with federal government. What is the business of Covenant University and go? I'm not sure they joined ASUU strike anyway. I'm not sure the private university joined. But the problem is still that because all of them are kept under the umbrella of JAMB, federal government is over controlling education. And the annoying again is like federal government itself is not efficient. It's not competent even to handle so many issues. They are not the major issue the federal government should be handling, which is security. They are not competent in handling it. So why should not bring the very foundation of our existence? Education is fundamental to the existence of a nation. Take it from federal government. Most of this problem would have be solved. Of course, we also know that from the 80s, half of university lecturers were not carved out to teach. They were not carved out to lecture. They took lecturing as the last resort because there were no jobs. So half of Nigerian lecturers are not scholastic. Permit me to say that. I may be exaggerating that. But I have sat down with so many of them, and the question, when I discussed with them, I said, what was this one doing in the classroom? What is this guy going to teach? How can you imagine somebody teaching a course since maybe 1989? And the same paper, the paper is even already tearing. He's still carrying the same paper to the classroom, even in this 21st century. So there are a lot of but most of the major woes with tiny education is federal government. Remove the hand of federal government from education, and let us reset our education to normalcy. For the young ones, it is this is not the best time to be born in Nigeria. I must me to use that word. This is not the best time to be born as a young person in Nigeria. And I do tell my children, I say, look, if I be born in Nigeria by this time, under the circumstances which I was born, I will not be educated. I will be a village palm wine tapper, and I will play my you under the tree, and maybe I've married 5 or 6 wives. I drink a palm wine in the morning, in the afternoon, and in the evening. Because that's how I would have gone to school. Public school as I'm not going to other issue because we are not discussing education in general. We are discussing ASUU. The ASUU continuous strike. It is a disgrace to the thinking of a government that's supposed to develop the future of the country. Because every 1 month strike slow down people. People have died during strike. People have become criminals because of strike. Young women have become, what do they call it? There's a new term they use in Lagos now, hook up. Those are, they still do it when they are in school anyway. So many things. They have changed literally the destiny of these young people. And only those who can afford their world to go to private university, which 5% of them are people who actually earn that money. Maybe they are professionals, they work in good organizations. The rest, 95%. But I once said that private university today is the recipient of corruption. Because most of the money that they are using to send students to private university, they are proceeds of corruption. And that is why this corruption will continue to thrive in Nigeria. That's why you will see somebody on level 10 having 3 children in private university, who the school fees of one is even more than his own salary. So there are a lot of misnomer that is happening in Nigeria, and it's very annoying that every year we wake up with ASUU on strike. This one they said, okay, it was a warning strike, and then they will say they are going to call it off. We were reading, then within few hours we said, now no, that one they did before was a warning. That now they are starting the real strike. Say, what is going on here? This is education itself that is even wobbling and fumbling now, because we are still using 1930 curriculum, but we are just managing it like that. It's okay. Something we are managing now is now getting K-leg. It's just annoying. It's annoying. We don't cater to the needs, to the aspiration of these young people. Imagine somebody, a engineering student, now being forced to learn hairdressing. I mean, it is ridiculous, but it is what it is. So I think until we separate the education system as a whole from federal government, we may not get out of this. Regime after regime, they will negotiate, they will not honor it. So what are we talking about? And they will tell these young people, they will tell us, I'm still young anyway, that we are the leaders of tomorrow. Which tomorrow? No, because if you don't have okay, it's all right. You are denying me now. So if you don't pay attention to the education of the young ones, you are not paying attention to the future of the country. And I can't imagine. Somebody asks, how do these people think? How did they go to bed? The other time the minister walked out of the meeting of the student, young people. Come on, what is going on here? Sorry, let me pause.
Okay, thank you, sir. Tosin, when you look at let's even put the ASUU strike on one side. Let's look at the typical average Nigerian, young person in Nigeria. Imagine when you were young, maybe you are in your between your age of 19 and 25. Imagine, just put yourself back then, the kind of struggles that you are facing in this period of time. Imagine Nigerian facing that kind of struggle now. What is the hope for that kind of guy?
The the hope of average Nigerian is what is playing out already. During those days, if during those my age, if what is happening now, probably be taken to those times too. They were not good times. Our generation has never enjoyed anything good. Between this age you mentioned, I have been in school. I've had to leave school and go in search of sites where there is a labor work so that I can earn some money. So an average Nigerian of what is playing out today, they are taken to drugs. The guys are taken to drugs. Even the ladies, the boys into fraud, internet scam. The ladies, the into hookup. If we want to dignify it, if we want to say it as it is, we say they are into olosho. So they are into prostitution. There's a video that surfaced some days ago in Warri, and you could see teenagers that should be in school on the street in the night, hawking themselves. Um, it is a very terrible time to be a Nigerian, whether you are old, you are young, especially the young ones. And that is why most time when I talk, it seems like emotion and aggression. But our generation, have not enjoyed anything good from Nigeria. And even when you try to leave the country in search of a greener pasture abroad, the stigma, the cost of a Nigerian still followed you. Well, individuals are in different countries. I don't know, but to me, where I am, it still follows you. So an average Nigerian youth it's very difficult for them. Uh we after having a good president, hopefully we can have one very soon. After having that, people need to be now reorientated, because you cannot imagine the amount of damage that all these have had on the youth. And these are the future. These are the future. If you get to the streets of Nigeria, engage an average youth, or you speak with them, you will be sorry for the future we are talking about. That is why I felt most time this our generation, the people in their early 30 and late 30, have the responsibility to salvage Nigeria from the older generation. Because, see, the generation behind us, I don't want to look like I'm talking down anybody, but the Nigerian youth, as we have it now, they are passing through a lot. Nothing is working for them. The light is not working. No power, no education. People cannot even go to school. As bad as that, they cannot even go to school. And we have government and its representatives that are full of themselves, not ready to do anything, just wake up, sleep, and repeat the same thing. And we have people that will come, government representatives being paid among the highest paid in the world, will come on national TV and lying to people's face, practically telling lies to people's face. It is terrible. Nigerian youth that are at home now, I don't know the reason every one of them is still sitting at home. By now, I expect them to wake up in the morning. Everyone that is on strike wake up in the morning, get dressed, and occupy the street. Well, they can make way for those that want to go about their daily bread, but what is the future if people are at home? Students are at home, those that should be in school, they are at home. And well, maybe I'll stop at that, because if I want to go forward, then we will look at the head, because fish think that one from the head. That is why some time ago I said people from a particular side of the nation should not be allowed to lead the country again, because they seems to bring what is happening in their region to the national field. People that doesn't value education in their region, you don't expect them to become the national leader and they will do a miracle.
All right. Thank you, Tosin. Um, you see, as Village Boy was talking the other time, there was this question in my mind, and I maybe it was rhetorical, but I'm going to ask Tim Lane to attempt it. And the question is this: why must our own be different? I'm speaking for the Nigerian young person, average Nigerian young person. Why must our own be different? You know, look at an average college student or university student in India is, by the time he is 21, is a graduate. Okay? By the time you see that, that's I was telling was it one of my brother or one of my somebody I was telling that when you meet an Indian, when you come from Nigeria to Dubai, to Ozu, and you meet an Indian who comes to Dubai as well, at 25, that boy might have two masters. At 25. Okay? But those of us, we always say, Nigerians, we are rugged. We are what's that English now? We are resilient. Do you understand? But does it not impact us? Does it not have significant impact on us? So till when? I mean, for how long should we continue to hide under we are strong? Because it's not like that with other people. It's not. So the question is, why must it be this difficult for the average young Nigerian? Timlane, you want to try it? I know it might be a little bit kind of.
Yeah, it's a tricky one. So we honestly do not know why it is like this for us, but the answer still lies with the system, because we are a product of our system, and our system is what is playing out between the interaction from the interaction of the government and the people. So I will still say that, just as Citizen Oluwatosin said, we still have to challenge this with the government. Why? Because most governments strive so hard to make things very, very easy for their citizens. So ours is like one that you are just left to wander around to find your way out. And when you make it, the country claims you. So it is an unfortunate situation. You are left in the lodge, you are left to make it, you are left to learn in a very hard way, and eventually when you break through, then they come back and claim you that this is our own, is a product of the country and all that. And they start saying all the sweet stories of Nigerians are making it abroad, Nigerians are doing very well, not knowing that the country that the Nigerians are making it in, there are countries that have made things fair for people. Wherever you come from, there is no nepotism. They make it a level playing ground for everybody. Whatever the case may be, you cannot come from that kind of adversity and come here and have an opportunity and not want to hold it. So when that happens, people say, "Oh, Nigerians are really resilient. Nigerians are."
Yeah, they say Nigerians are not playing, but you don't understand that what that guy has passed through. Play is not even on his list.
Right. So that is it. You cannot come from Nigeria and then play in Canada or in the US or Dubai or anywhere. You cannot. You are seeing an opportunity facing you like this, something that you have. Some people don't really They don't really value what they lose, what they have until they lose it. But what you don't have before, that is a particular need to you. Once you get it, you know you want to get hold of it. So that is the situation with Nigerians. But the government still has a lot to do, a lot. So I'll yield the mic from here.
Okay, thank you, Timilai. I don't want to ask Village Boy. The If we continue like this, I was watching a documentary earlier. Was it earlier today or yesterday? You know, I was using one hand to do my research and using one ear to listen to that documentary talking about inequality in the world. You know, why they say in America the two richest, the two richest, they are as rich as 50% of the lower bottom. Okay. Now, when you look at Nigeria, inequality, you know, and I think inequality is now almost everywhere in the world, especially in the developing world and even the advanced countries, advanced world too. But in Nigeria right now, like this set of my younger sister, I mean, when I was in school in Nigeria too, we all have our own share of this strike, you know. But the truth is that while she is going to learn how to plait hair now, eh, her mates who probably start that same program, they probably finish the one semester. Okay? So apart from the time that you are losing, what about the interest? What about the distraction? And the children of the elite are not distracted. You know, growing up in Ekiti, people used to say, oh, those rich people, that their children also do not make, they don't make it eventually, that their children do mess up. Their children, they are wayward. Their children are this, their children are not intelligent. It was later I realized that this was all a lie. Their children are doing fantastically well. Talk to them. You see that these people are advanced in their mind. Children. But we are deceiving ourselves, the children of the poor, we are deceiving ourselves, saying the children of the rich and are spoiled. Saying the children of the rich self, they don't become anything. In fact, nowadays, the children of the poor are more susceptible to drug and alcohol than the children of the elite. So, Village Boy, I want you to please, as an academic, assess the probably implication of inequality now. I mean, as a result of what we are experiencing now in the next future.
Well, when you talk of inequality, I think you have said that it's everywhere. Inequality has many sides to it. So when you talk of inequality in terms of social class, which is what I can from your other explanation, the dichotomy between the rich and the poor. There was a time we had three classes in of people in Nigeria, almost distinctively. You have the upper class, you have the middle class, then you have the lower class. You can almost distinguish. And what is the distinguishing factor of middle class? They are educated, they have good job, and they live a decent life. What we call a decent life. They have all the we consider essential of life. You either have your Peugeot or you have Chalake, which is Toyota Corolla or Datsun 120Y, and you have your B2. I mean, then you have a flat, you have TV, you have video, you have all those stuff, and you can send your children to decent school. Public school was decent enough that time, so. And if you are well wired, well connected, your children can attend Unity School. We had that middle class, and I've said it over and over again that for our generation, let me say for our generation, one thing that took many people from the poverty level to the middle class is education. But I want us also to know that this education was more well pronounced in the Southwest. Then the 30s, before the Civil War, Yes, they also were, moving the education director. But the Civil War changed the trajectory of the Southeast. So they now follow commerce more after the Civil War. So with commerce, a lot of them, were out of poverty, and they left education to the female. That's another issue together. So that's why you see today, when you look at the educated Southeasterner, the ratio may be as 70 to 30, 70 female and 30 male. But they had to, at the time, they had to take education, other education to the market, because the gap was becoming too embarrassingly wide. Then in the north, the only route to overcome poverty is government job. And from beginning, I've documented that in my book, they did not favor mass education. In fact, there was an education policy that said they wanted to bridge the gap between the north and the south. Because in those days in the north, most of their civil service, you have people from Egypt, you have people from India as permanent staff. Even when they engage other people from other parts of Nigeria, they give them as they engage them as casual labor. These are facts. So the Southwest believe that education is a way out of poverty, and they have rigorously pursued that. Again, it is in the mixture of bridging the gap that JAMB came into being. It's an instrument of bridging that gap. Yes, you may say there's nothing wrong with bridging the gap, but the problem here is like, rather than bridging the gap, they slow down other people. They slow down every other region. That's why even today, education in the Southwest is almost in shambles. Now, this myth that the children of well-to-do, they don't do well than the average poor person. I think before you can understand that, you have to bring in the mixture of corruption into it. Because when you go to the street of London today, it is not impossible that you see a lot of these children of elites who are into drug, who drop out of school. There are so many of them. There are so many children of the so-called elite in Nigeria that are roaming out on the street of London, especially, who, for one reason, they could not make it in school. They have taken to drugs, and so that statement is not completely untrue. But there are those of them who, because of they had good jobs, they had they channeled their children into good education. The truth, even my fear, since I've been telling people for the past 20 years, is like, those who are being sent to good school by their parents, the so-called elite, the ones that are doing well, will perpetuate inequality more than anything else. Because when these people, this class of people, are receiving education that make them to be able to compete globally, some of them are outside Nigeria now, but they will come back to Nigeria and they will take over. And the children of ordinary people will serve them. They will, as they serve their masters, their father, they will still serve these children, because these are the ones that will have the wherewithal to rule, because they are exposed to international best practices. Now you see a student, an average student in public school in Nigeria. Yes, because the attention is distracted by ASUU strike. He goes back to school. They say they call off strike today. Then they will tell you, next week there will be exam. And the student will say, no, but it's okay, give us area of concentration. Then they will do cramming and pouring. And by the time they come out, they are empty. I had the privilege of interviewing one guy. Somebody was sent to me when I was still in Lagos that he was looking for an employment. This guy had a master's in economics. And I asked a simple question to differentiate between micro and macroeconomy. And this person was telling me that they did that at 200 level as undergraduate. And I said, so? And I took time to tell him what I learned in primary school in the 60s, in the 70s rather. And the person now went back to the person sent him to me that, what do you embarrass? You did tell me that my person was going to interview me, sir. See, you are looking for work. They send you to somebody. Are you not supposed to be like Boy Scout and be prepared? So people now think that, okay, what I learned in 100 level, so far I'm able to pass 100 level exam, that is over. Here we are, many of us, we still remember vividly what we mean. I can still recite my logo that I learned in primary 3. So you see, that distraction make them to have certificate without knowledge. And whether we like it, knowledge will still remain power. Yeah, there are people also, because of technology, because of exposure to internet and social media, there are some of them who have trained themselves in technology in spite of their background. Those people will still make it. For instance, if maybe your sister is in Lagos now and have access to, maybe there are some technology hubs in Lagos, and she can use this period to learn coding. But now the environment is also has conspired against her.
Exactly, that's my point.
The environment she's now, the best she can get is to go and learn hairdressing. So if you want to fix that at individual level, you have to look for those hubs in Lagos where they teach technology and find a way of connecting her rather than complaining. But then that is individual solution.
No, if I can fix for my sister, what about the millions of other?
That's why I said that is an individual solution. Now, with the pain you have gotten from your sister, then how can we probably intervene that many of these hubs, how can we get them created in the rural community? The truth is that if you create a hub, like in your local government headquarters now, people from even 2 local governments can be coming there. But most of these hubs are even concentrated in Lagos. I'm not sure there are even so many of them in Abuja. And that again, that is why you continue to see rural urban migration. It's like until you are in Lagos, you can't live a meaningful life. It should not be so. So there are a lot of issues there. By the time you begin to look at this, there are layers and layers and layers of this you can unearth. The truth is that the next 20 years is already settled, even if not 30 years. Many of these young people who grew up in the rural area are struggling to go to federal or state university. They are going to be passengers in the next 30 years. They are not. They are not being prepared for leadership. They are being prepared for followership. These same people who are being prepared for leadership are being sent out to go and study all over the world. Those that are in Nigeria, they are studying in private universities. And most of those private universities are already exposing them to global practices. But again, most of them, they are learning, they can't practice. Even those who want, they still have to go out to be able to practicalize what they are teaching them. So the situation is very gloomy. And when we look at this video, sometimes you feel like crying. Of course, we do know, I've retired with a lot of young people. There are a lot of these young people here who will not want to go back to Nigeria. They will not want to go because they don't even see hope. They don't see future. They read all these things and they say, what is going on? So how long will this continue? if we have a government in 2023, hopefully, if we have a leader that understands the problem and is willing to stick his or her neck out to solving the problem. If you ask me what are the two issues that they should solve, if they solve two issues in Nigeria, and the government that come down and can solve two issues, can fix Nigeria. Security is not even the issue now here. The two issues is education and electricity. If you fix these two, I bet you Nigeria will witness a kind of development it has never witnessed before. So the future is not that bright, except we see, I don't know, it's the other way around. When the founders of not Lord Joseph brought evil, pain, agony. Now we need a pharaoh that will know Joseph so that they can combine two good heads can combine to fix Nigeria, right? To fix the country. The truth is that if this system continue, children of nobody will remain in slavery mode for the next 30 or 40 years. I'm not a prophet of doom, because it's going to keep getting worse.
Many Nigerians have been told that maybe the reason their parents did not escape poverty is because they didn't pray enough.
No, don't bring religion into this. It's not about prayer. It's about, in my generation, I can tell you boldly that the only, especially in the Southwest. No, don't bring religion into it. Let us keep religion aside for now, please. In Southwest that I know, the major route, the only route actually of overcoming generational poverty has been education. But that education there now is in shambles. Even the children don't want to go to school. The one that is slightly intelligent want to go to and do Yahoo. But this Yahoo has no future.
It just like a Ponzi scheme in Nigeria has been attractive, and there's a reason it is attractive is because some people have jealous, so to say, that's why it looks attractive. Anyway, let's go back to the topic. I want to ask Tosin this question, and before I ask this question, let me say this. I wrote it down when the village boy was talking earlier. I remember when I finished college in 2006, I went to live with my uncle in Ibadan. And one of my cousins was saying that some of his friends were arguing that it is that you will not have 10 naira, that it is not possible. There's nobody like that in Nigeria. And I was just wondering and listening to these boys and saying, that there are some people like that because of the kind of background, because of where they come from, because of where the kind of parents that they have, privileged parents. They've never been broke. And so such children will be the one who have opportunity to go and study in Harvard or study in one of the best universities around the world. And then they come back and become permanent secretary or become president or become senator or House of Assembly member. So how will that kind of person, how will he understand the pain of the average person? Somebody at that level who was a university student, I think Leeds University, that private university.
Network is doing.
Yeah, I think my network. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Yes.
Is Nigeria happening to you where you are?
I don't know. Anyway, so my question to you, Tosin, is this: when is the Senate and the National Assembly, and the State Assembly, when are they going to go on strike for non-payment? Then they receive money. The professors for university know they receive money. Is it that they are not also are they also feeling the pain, but they are just refusing to strike?
This an average, not to even senators, an average Nigerian politicians, they don't feel any pain from the local government chairman to the president. They don't even their special advisors, their aides, they don't feel any pain. They feel no pain. When the governor, the state of Osun, as we speak now, the state of Osun is owing people, is owing the workers about 1 year salary. But the governor and his aides, they are getting their own salary monthly. So these people, they don't feel any pain. They are getting paid. Is my network good? Okay. So they don't feel any pain. They don't feel any pain. The people themselves need to form an alliance to rise up against especially the political class we have in Nigeria. They don't feel any pain. They have allowances that we don't even know about. They have wardrobe allowance, they have furniture allowance, they have pet allowance, they have different type of allowance that if an average, well, if we know about it, there's nothing we will do. There's nothing we will do. So they don't feel all this. They are getting paid steadily. Not only that they are getting paid steadily, they pay themselves. They just dig the hand there and they pay themselves awesomely. So they don't feel our pain. They don't feel our pain. We are the one feeling the pain. That is why you see an average Nigerians are the one only shouting all the time. Some of the senators will shout just once in a while, like they don't have power or they don't know the solution to the problem. They will only shout just to play to the gallery so that we fear but boy and sorrow. Not lie. Sometimes I've seen some senators, they or some representatives, they stand up, vibrate. Let us close the Senate. What are we doing here? This country is upside down. Let us close. Now drama. That is pure drama. If he is truly concerned, he should raise a motion that they should remove the president, that the president is not doing well. Not let us close the Senate. No, we are not going to close the Senate. You have the power to remove the president if he's not doing what he's not supposed to do. He's the commander-in-chief of the armed forces. And if the country is under-secured, then you can raise a motion as the senator to remove the president or to summon him. He should say that, not looking for sympathy. Let us close the senator. All those are just drama. All those are drama. They should spare us.
Thank you. Timileyin, a lot of us have been advocating, including you yourself, has been advocating that people should japa. Okay? And recently I was thinking about it that it's even people that are privileged, that can qualify to japa. You understand? There are young Nigerians who does not have a degree. There are people of my age, they don't even have WAEC. Okay? Or many of them they got WAEC or maybe OND or NC or first degree, maybe third class. You understand? So the opportunity to japa self is very, very dim, very, very slim. Let's say there are those who even have second class self, but there's no money. There are those who have a good O level. They don't have money because japa is not free. And I think you and I have discussed it before. Even university abroad that are advocating and advertising scholarship is not free. Nothing is totally free. If unless they consider you that you have something to offer, there's no scholarship, no free money anywhere. So I'm still looking at who are those people who even have money to subscribe. Some of our people, when if you have people in Nigeria, you see that some people when they quickly come to WhatsApp, immediately before you know it, they don't switch off their data again. So how many of them can have opportunity to when you send link to some of them, because I've experienced it, you send link to some of them, they will not even be able to click on the link. They will just acknowledge that okay, they've seen the link. But if you inquire, you find out that they didn't even click on the link because of the subscription. You understand? So I wanted to ask you, apart from Japa, which we know is for a few privileged people, to be honest, because when I look at the route and the way that people like me was able to Japa, omo, easy, oh, you understand? So now let's now look at those people who does not have that opportunity, that access is not there, they have no access to that information. I was sharing with Village Boy that during my final year in my NCE program, when my oga insisted that I should take a project that required me to go to the internet, that was what introduced me to the internet by force. But that privilege, that opportunity alone exposed me to the world, to another world entirely. And so that's when I caught the vision that, okay, I want to also experience whatever it is that exists beyond what I have seen, which is in my Ekiti. I spent a majority, like 99% of my life at that time, I spent in Ekiti. Okay? So, and I've been to Lagos briefly. Lagos was like, I don't know, was like maybe one of the a place for an Ekiti boy like me then, is a place you want to go to. So when you come to Lagos and you're standing on the bridge, it's like you are flying in the air. You understand? So now I just want you to do a mental review. What is the hope for that average Ekiti, Ondo, Sokoto young guy who is not privileged?
That's a well, that's a very tricky question again. So it to an extent it is true that to jump out, to travel out actually requires a lot of requirements, and to an extent the privileged have it easy to an extent. Yeah, but I have also seen people who you would not consider privileged, who went to the university in Nigeria with pain, but they were intentional, they were dedicated, and they were resilient. And at the end of the day, finished with good grades, and then opportunity came knocking. But they were prepared. That's the foundation. They were prepared. So most times, what I have seen with us as a people is that we often wait for opportunity to come. Then we wait and wait and wait. And that is, I'm sorry if I'm sounding religious here, that is a way the Bible actually describes faith. It is what you have not seen, but you are hoping for. So that was what I, for one, did. It wasn't as if my parents had the money to send me abroad. It wasn't as if when I was in the university, I had everything. Great. I'm privileged in an extent. My parents were able to pay my school fees and then send me pocket money. But I have also seen people whose parents did not send them anything other than cassava that they will bring to school. And I'm very serious. I am really serious about that. Truthfully, all they brought was cassava and yam to the school, and then they were able to go just like the citizen Oluwatosin said, like on weekends like this, they go to people's farms, to help them and they get money. They borrow money around for their school fees. They're always paying late payment fee, and they graduated. And at the end of the day, they graduated fine, and that was the only privilege they had. That was the only privilege, because I don't know, there could be some youth at home now who have been affected by ASUU strike that are listening to this. They should know that if they are intentional about this one thing that they are doing, the village boy had established that fact that education seems to be the only way out, and I can confidently say that seems to be the only way out. I'm sorry I'm deviating for the question from that question a bit, but this is very important to put out there for the youth listening, that education still remains relevant. It is still the most important thing that you have, especially if you are serious about it. The knowledge that you get from it is the power that you have. So at the end of the day, if you are able to break through with education and then you do well in school, there are limitless opportunities, too many of them that you can access afterwards. It wouldn't be easy. I'm not promising you that. I'm not saying it is going to be easy, but you are going to get gains from it eventually. So let me go to your question now. That one person that did not get educated, that is not exposed, I will still say it is not too late. It is going to be hard. It is not too late, to seek knowledge. It might not be formal education. It might be learning trade. It might be learning business. It might be taking risk sometimes. But the point is that it is not too late. It is not too late to seek information, to seek knowledge. It is important. You cannot see everything about wealth. You are asking how there could be way out for someone that is not educated. Everything about wealth, about money, is transactional. Nobody will give you money. If they give you, it is not going to be sustainable. You must have something to bring to the table, which has to be something of value. And that value could be the knowledge that you have, could be the skills that you have, could be the degree that you have, could be the certifications that you have. So in this case, I would say it is not too late to learn a trade, to learn a skill, to go to school, to do anything that you deem fit, that will make you, valuable to the society, that will give you, an edge over just an average person that is shouting APC, PDP on the road. So this would be my 2 cents.
All right, Timilai, I know that I put you in a difficult corner there, but I'm glad you navigated it well. Some years ago, people used to say, "School na scam." You know, people were saying it, and a lot of people were saying it. Go and see Mark Zuckerberg. He didn't graduate. This one didn't graduate. That one drop out. But I've always been saying it, that if you come from if you come from the developing countries, whether Asia or Nigeria especially, your only fact. See, personally, I've seen. I was about maybe 16 or 17 years old when my mom went back to school, and I can say today that that is perhaps the reason why she's still alive. Because that single act of going back to school at that time, she already had 3 children. I became an adult by force. All those boys go play football in the evening. I didn't have that luxury. You see that I was selling, hawking something to help her make some extra money to pay school fees, or I was babysitting for her when she was gone. But today my mom not finish. Okay, so and the reason why she could get a teaching job is because of that decision, and people were literally laughing at her. As in, there are people who will joke behind you, right? But this one, they were saying it to her face and laughing in the street. You know, now in the village, now everybody know. We're saying it. But she went. I don't know. I don't even understand the kind of spirit, I mean, the kind of push. But it's the only reason why she's, I mean, she's a very strong woman, you know. So if you can go back to school, just you know, corroborating what Timlane said, and Village Boy has also said it. Education seems to be the only hope for many of us. Some people will, by chance, you know, by mistake, they will make it. You know, some people have skill, especially if you are still in Nigeria now. Okay, this is especially for those who are still in Nigeria. People who are not in Nigeria, if they have skill, they can sell it, and really, that is when you can say whether school has come for them. But for those of you who are in that, you know, in my village. Anyway, I want us to start rounding up. We have spent a little over an hour. So, Village Boy, looking at this issue of strike, what is the way forward?
The way forward is for government to be very sincere. If government is sincere, as okay, so enough is enough. It is the government has the power, they have the solution in their hands if they are willing to do it. That is the immediate solution. The long-term solution is to take federal government out of education completely. Remove their hands from education. Revert education back to states. And another thing is scrap. We don't need jam.
You think state, how will state take care of university? When state, I mean, just saying that Osun State cannot even pay their salary for 1 year.
University autonomy, that is what people would do. Is like universities themselves, they become creative. Universities can generate funds. They can, by the time university begin to do the work they are supposed to do, creating patent for the private sector. People come and buy patents, they develop things and people buy them. And people endow a lot of courses. So yes, government will be giving them some subvention. It's just like ICANN now. Because ICANN is a professional body. ICANN is ideally supposed to be entitled to government subvention because they train people too. But sometimes the subvention does not come. But over time, ICANN has developed a lot of programs that it has become self-sustaining. That is the model that our university should become. When they become self-sustaining, you know, you see people endowing some research here and there. When education becomes functional, our university system should be able to stand on their own. Maybe we don't need, some of these universities may have to merge. For instance, if I can say, okay, we want to face engineering, this kind of engineering, then you like, okay, because you are a center of excellence, we want to face accounting, we want to face a commercial something. You create a niche for yourself. But that's a long term. That's a long-term decision. So the first thing is like,
in a country where you have teeming youth who are seeking admission, how will it be?
No.
With the
when
few
education becomes functional, when you create a more, you know, even when you education become more functional, you discover that people are being trained able to run their own businesses. You learn a skill that you can become a developer. You can become, when they measure all these people that are developing, you call Mark Zuckerberg and all those, because you have a system that enable you to develop idea and follow it through. Then you get to a point you can even get some funding. The money that we are throwing at parties, the money that they are lavishing, if all those money are channeled towards making education what it should be, you will discover that, okay, for instance, if a university develop a modular system for electricity, for instance, now that can maybe power 3 or 4 towns together at the same time. Do you know how many people will be engaged to develop that? Do you know how many people will be engaged to maintain that? Do you know can you imagine the multiplier effect of people doing that? Then you begin to create hubs. Each university creates hubs, and there are a lot of other allied services that will come. Then you create a kind of some clusters around particular, idea or concept. That's what we need in the long run. In the long run, we don't need a jam. Jam is a waste of resources, a waste of time. So if I want to go to university, I look for 2 or 3 that offer the course I want to do. I apply to them, which was the system before, which is the system that is being run everywhere. We don't have something like JAMB in Canada. We don't have it in US. Each university administers its own admission. So, and again, the university, when they become very autonomous, they will become more creative because they know they have to survive. So the problem we are spoon feeding our institutions, so that everybody is made to look to the mighty federal government. That is why we become lazy. It's not ordinarily we are creative. They say necessity is the mother of invention. Is it not so? Today, an average, even these youth we are talking, an average one of them has 2 telephones. Yet we cannot even prepare spare parts for those telephones. This is a place with a huge market because ordinarily we have strong appetite or controllable appetite for consumption. But unfortunately, we are consuming what we are not producing. And when we have a good education system that supports production, that produce more than half of what we are consuming, think about the multiplier effect of it. I used to tell you that go to a simple construction site. You are building 3-story building, for instance, office complex. You bring in the cement, you bring in the sand, you bring in the bricklayer, bring in the carpenter, you bring everybody. That is not all. You bring the woman that is coming to that site to sell sobo. You bring to that site a woman that is selling rice. You bring Okada rider to that site. You bring Keke rider to that site. To that site. You bring somebody that is selling pure water to that site. All engaging in meaningful economic activity as long as the construction lasts. Right? That is the model that we should look at. Okay, if we are building something, anywhere we are building something, when we are building factory, even at the construction stage, we are already having economic activity going on. Now, by the time that factory is functional, you are bringing a supplier of raw materials. You are bringing a transporter that is bringing the raw material to the factory, is it not? Then when you finish producing, you are having, of course, you still have local buccateria for workers, for contractors. You have transporters that are bringing workers to the factory. Then when you have produced, you have transporters that are evacuating the finished product to the market. Is it not? Look at those multipliers because you do some, it's just a case of when you do something right, one thing right, you can get benefit of 2, 3, 4, 5 from doing one single thing right. To me, if Nigeria wants to really move forward, apart from all this issue of political restructuring and everything, if we fix education today and make education better, in those days, students are coming all over the world to attend our school. You gain foreign exchange from that, from international students. They pay more. 2, you are exposing your food system to a global community. 3, when you fix education, then you fix electricity. For instance, I want to set up a simple barber shop. With 15,000, I buy 2 clipper, buy 3 combs, buy dusty powder, and some cloth. I can set up at the corner of my house because I know there's electricity to supply me. But what is the situation today? If I want to set up a barber shop, the first thing I consider, I have to buy a generator. An average generator, now even the better pass my neighbor, is over 50,000. So cost of setting up business will even reduce. That's just one trade. Then you look at that. Then why can't our students at technical colleges, at students who are studying engineering, why can't we start from the manufacturing spare part for phone? Because all of us are crazy about phone now, right? Then we move from spare part to see how the university can develop a telephone that is suitable for our weather, that can withstand heat. See, there are so many opportunities there. But if you don't get the education right, I don't know how we can tap into the education. Knowledge still remains power. Knowledge is power. Today, beyond US, most of by the time you go out of iPhone, you talk of Samsung and everything. Where are they being produced? South Korea, Taiwan. When you talk about electronics, you are talking of Japan. We are feeding all these countries with our meager earning. Imagine those money. Let's say half of those money, because it's not something we are going to cut off immediately. Those money, circulate around Nigeria. Imagine what it can do for us. Imagine if there's electricity, and of course internet will even this internet we are talking. Why it's expensive is because every network has to buy generator to power their base station. Heavy cost. And the moment they shut down the base station to refuel the diesel, you will see the network fluctuating. There are so many things that are related to this. Just pick these 2 items: electricity, education.
All right, thank you, sir. I saw an analysis that somebody made some times ago. I think a professor, a northerner, about 2 weeks ago, I saw it. He said what many people, or this particular government that is not intelligent, is not thinking about when they talk about ASUU strike, is that you think students are not in school, that it is the professors and the teachers that are suffering, and perhaps the students. But you forget that transportation is suffering. He said, let's assume that there are 2 million or 20 million, let's say 20 million students are going to school every day in Nigeria. Let's say 20% of them will take transportation per day, Monday to Friday. At least like 20 million or 10 million each would go to a transportation alone. That is money that is being circulated. Look at the mama put around universities across the country, the restaurants, look at the security guards who must have lost their job now because they are working for private companies. All right, look at the local landlords, that students who are not staying on campus, that they rent houses from. Look at how much those people are losing. Look at copy. He said, imagine if each student in Nigeria is making photocopy of 20 naira all across the country. Look at how much is being injected into the country per day that is circulating. That is also, according to his calculation, resulting to millions again. Just photocopy. Look at cyber cafes. Many of those cyber cafes would have closed shop now because they are open, they're operating in the university environment, and university students are gone. During my research, I found out that there was one of the respondents who who said she was doing a cyber cafe business in Ilorin, near Uni Ilorin. So during COVID-19, he said she was completely out of business. And so she had to go and start selling something in one of the Ilorin market to begin to be able to be having income during that period of time. So for all those universities that are closed now, that's what is happening. So it's not just the students, it's not just the professors. Look at people that are selling recharge card. Look at people that are taking photo. I don't know if they are still doing that. As everybody have a smartphone nowadays. I'm just thinking that it's insane. And because of, anyway, I will say this after Tosin has made his own comment. Way forward.
Way forward. The way forward is the Nigerian youths. They need to stand up. They need to stand up. They need to take the issue of pay attention. They need to pay more attention to the issue of governance and politics, because the set of people we have there now don't even care about them. They don't care what's become of them. In their mind, their future is secure. The future of their kids is secure too. And Nigeria as a whole, I think we are sitting on a gunpowder. We are sitting on a gunpowder as a nation, because a nation that the education system is crippled. The number of kids out of school, out of school, is alarming. Um, the way forward is that the Nigerian youth just need to pay more attention to governance. They need to ask their representatives at all levels question. They need to speak out. They need to understand that protest is different to election. All around the world, the only viable means, legit means of replacing leaders are through election and not protest. Because I observe that when people call for protest, the youth seems eager to go for protest. But when they call for them to get their PVC or to go out to vote, they are reluctant. Protests will only make noise. We only call attention to the problem. We only project the problem. But when we go out to vote for the right people, and nobody should ask me that where are the right people? Every electoral year, there are the right people coming out to contest. It is only that we are blindfolded with the major two political parties. That is why we don't see those right people. So the only way forward is for youth to pay more attention to governance, to participate in voting, in election, in getting their PVC, and the next election go out massively to go to vote, not to go out to protest. Go to vote and protect your vote. That is the only way forward, because the crop of politicians we have in Nigeria now, 95 to 98% of them do not mean well for an average Nigerians, whether home and abroad. They don't mean well for us. And considering the number of people out of school, considering the number of people out there on the streets that are hustling with no means of what they will eat tomorrow or tonight, anything can happen anytime. Recently, we have the Okada riders now. They are running rampage in Nigeria. Okada riders killing people and burning them just because of 100 naira, mistaking people for yahoo yahoo and all. The country, the youth of that country, they are the lowest now, and people just need to wake up. Apart from catching crews, going to social media, catching crews, dancing, making TikTok video, making posts. I'm not saying all this is bad. We have to enjoy our social life. At the same time, we have to pay attention to the issue of governance, because who becomes who take which office, especially in the next election, matter most. As we have it now, we have never had it this bad as a nation. We have never had it this bad as a nation since Nigeria started. 60 years plus now. We never had it this bad. Imagine we don't pay attention and another set of incompetent people take power 2023. What will become of the Nigerian youth? The money they said they allege, everything in Nigeria is alleged. Even when people plead guilty to the offense, they still say allege. The money they allege the Accountant General of Nigeria of stolen, 80 billion naira. Another one stole another one. The money is going to up to the amount they need to finish ASUU strike. But these people don't care about us. Now they are saying the guy is buying houses in Dubai, he's buying maybe the house I'm staying now, maybe he's the owner, I don't know. He's buying houses in Dubai, in UK, in Abuja. They are building estates in Abuja. For what? People are just greedy. People are just, and these people, well, they are thieves. I was in there this afternoon. No need to call them the money launderer. Somebody steal money, you say launder money. Only they are thieves. They are thieves. And until Nigerian youth get hungry and stop catching cruise, until they start paying attention. Imagine that guy stole 80 billion and no protest for that. No youth uprising for that. How are we a serious people? How will politicians fear us? If somebody stole 80 million of your money, the things they don't even know is their money. Somebody stole your money, 80 billion of your money, $600 million of your money, and you're at home. You don't even know what you will eat tomorrow, and you are still comfortable. Making to talk with the Koni Baje, let me see you. Oh, the Baje already. I say you are buga in rubbish. Oh, the Baje already. $80 billion naira.
I love this.
And somebody stole that comfortably. And the guy is just taking award up and down and building empire for himself and his family. And you don't even know what will become of you. And you think we will not be aggressive. We should be aggressive. We should be aggressive. Every Nigerian youth should take the issue of governance more seriously, because they determine your future. They determine the future of your kids. So how do you want the future of your kids to be? If your own future is like this today, and they are still galvanizing themselves around now, or you think somebody that is buying 100 million naira form to become president will get there and solve the problem? Even with the person there now not doing anything, is having a few days. The kind of example Buhari is laying now, do you think the next president, if we don't take things seriously, the next president will go there and do something? With the kind of president this guy is laying, just wake up, sit down, do nothing, travel around the world with our money, spending people's money, doing nothing, getting paid, doing nothing. If we want solution, if we want way forward, everyone should start paying attention to politics. Everyone should go get their PVC. We should take the issue of governance more seriously. People should start asking from their local government chairman question. People should go. People in the community should start asking their councillor, their chairman, their governors. They should start asking them questions. How can a governor be owing 1 year salary of workers, and he's getting paid, and he's coming to you for a re-election, and you are still going to vote for him? Where is your mind, people of Osun? Where is your mind? You are going to vote for somebody that has not paid you for 1 year, and he is getting paid. Nigerians need to wake up. We need to get hungry.
They,
We need
they either vote for him or they vote for the dancing guy. that, that
we
one
should
that was
look
making.
beyond we should look beyond these two parties. There are many more other people there. There's one guy also from YPP that is contesting. Nigerians really need to understand their vote counts. They need to understand that they can effect the change they want, looking away from PDP and APC. Vote counts. If people will go out to vote, collect their PVC, go out to vote en masse. After voting, make sure they stay there until their vote is counted and they upload that amount on the internet. Vote counts and things can change. If not, things will not change. It will only get worse. This is not about prayer. If people don't take the issue of governance seriously, things will not change. It will keep degenerating. Miracle will not happen anywhere. God will not fix anywhere. God does not fix country. Only men of vision fix country. God don't help anybody to fix country. Prayer don't fix country. If prayer fix country, Nigeria should be like Dubai. If prayer fix country,
should be like paradise. Even though we don't know what paradise is.
Those who live here today.
Yes, so prayer don't fix country. People should take the issue of governance seriously. People should go get their PVC and be ready to vote.
Thank you. See, Mr. Shore sent me, I think maybe his tweet to me. He said somebody stole 80 billion. Now they said they just announced that another person stole 47 billion. When you add that to, you have 127 billion. And the reason ASUU has been at home for how many months now is because of 200 billion. So how many remain? When you remove 127 away from, remove 120 from 200. 127 from 200. You have only change remain.
And this same guy stealing money is the one saying there's no money to pay ASUU.
See, I was telling you, the reason we even hear about this is because people were becoming crazy about what is that the lady that was killed in Deborah. It was that the government want to keep us quiet. They know, okay, the way this North and South is beginning to argue too much on this thing is too much. So let us give them something else to talk about. That's the only reason. We wouldn't have heard. This is not new, actually. Immediately I saw it as this one. They just want people, they want to change the direction. They believe that, they believe that they can always change the conversation, So let's feed them something else, because it's like that issue of Deborah is, making a lot of people angry, and the people of the North also, they are not, many of them are not able to keep quiet about it. So they are coming out to defend their action. So which is aggravating a lot of Southerners. And so let's introduce something else for them so that you distract them. And so when you hear somebody stole 80 billion, anyway.
I have a very unpopular view about that. I think most of these people are exaggerated. They exaggerated 80 billion. When you look at 80 billion, because I'm a man of figure, the first thing you ask yourself is like, okay, the ministry, the department which he heads, how much was allocated to them for that period? Did they pay salary? Because the logic here is this: if the Accountant General stole 80 billion, the Deputy Accountant General minimally would have stolen 20 billion. The director, an average director, would have stolen 5 billion to 6 billion.
So are you saying they don't steal?
No, yes, no. When you put all these figures together, the next question is like, how much were given there? How much was allocated to them? Did they pay salary? Did they maintain office? Did they do other things? Or every money that came to them, they just pack it and put it in their pockets? See, the truth is that one of the problem is they are playing with our brain. They exaggerate figures to get us unnecessarily angry. And when they go to prosecute these cases, because the figures are not genuine, because the figures are not substantiated, the case is lost. That is why they don't have any substantial prosecution, because
Hmm.
they just build up, they are playing to gallery. They just want us to wipe off our emotion. What
Well,
were they waiting for? How can a general all by himself carry 80 billion?
hey, he cannot. He couldn't have been
Who?
by himself. It would have been in collusion with other people. But then, since he's the head now, and then they will carry.
So
Anyway,
everything and everybody, how much
the-
was allocated to that department for that 4 years?
that
These
one
are the
like that
questions we should
person.
ask. Eh?
There was
Similarly,
one
please
audio. There was one
let's.
audio of
I'm not
the
saying they did not
governor.
steal. Oh, I'm not saying they did not steal. But if you want us to really take this issue of corruption serious, there is no point exaggerating figure. My own concept of like, if somebody has stolen 1 million, another person stole 1 billion, they are thieves. Even if you steal 1,000 naira, you are a thief because that money does not belong to you. You don't have to pump up the figure to make it look real.
But you are only insinuating. We don't have fact also that they were that these figures have
But
been
there are some things that
inflated.
defy logic. When you are calling a figure to me that defy logic, it doesn't
Yeah,
make sense. And because it doesn't make sense, I don't take you serious.
yeah. I understand that it may have been inflated, but then we don't. We also don't have figures to prove
Yeah,
that
I know we don't
insinuation.
have figure because the then we have the auditor that is still that audit this department every year and year. Auditor general audit department year in year out. They said the previous accountant general stole 4 billion. They sack him because of 4 billion. So this one now sold 80 billion. So now that they are sacking this guy now, it means the other person that will come now will store about 400 billion, because if you multiply it geometrically, this is good. We are finished.
Well, yeah, for
And
Nigeria,
when you look at 80 billion, I've tried to calculate it. How much? That's about 2% of the national budget.
yeah,
And I told myself, look, something is wrong somewhere. I know
it
this guy
is
has stolen.
actually.
I don't believe that figure. That figure is exaggerated.
Okay, you may not
But
believe it, but
I don't have proof.
the truth is that they are making money as a country, and we cannot see the influence of that money, which means
We
somebody is
understand
stealing
that
it.
one. Yes, but let us also, if you are going to report, still be sincere. Let us know how much he has stolen. Let us find a way of collecting it, and not only him, because he cannot steal alone. I keep on
Yeah,
telling you that animal kinule in the Yoruba something.
of course,
This is there are layers to this thing. Somebody
of
prepare
course.
budget, somebody authorize check. Most of the time, the engineer doesn't even sign all these instruments. There are directors that sign them. So
Anyway,
did it?
let's
I know.
close,
Let's
Gary.
not go in. Let's go.
If we go into that one, we not go close today. Timlane, briefly, can we just have your conclusion and then we close, please?
Thank you. So, I appreciate all the precedents that the village boys, Zolwatoze and yourself have actually laid down. I think it's very important for us to decentralize the power with respect to education system, and also we need to vote in the right people and do the right things. But there is one more thing that I think we can actually do, to move forward. We can simulate the Western type of education structure. Here, professors are not employed based on their grades or wherever. Yeah, that's one of the requirements, but they are being. I'm actually corroborating what the village boy said. They are actually employed based on their research potential and their ability to attract funds, so that focus is not on the federal government. and total dependency is not on the dependence is not on the federal government. Now, if you look at it, most professors in Nigeria, because they know that whether they teach or they don't teach, salary is going to flow in. There is something they call tenure track position in the academic system here. Well, even if you get in as an assistant professor, you still have to prove yourself in the next few years. If you don't get that tenure track, you are going to be dismissed. If you don't get that tenure, you are going to be dismissed. So why can't we just adopt that kind of system whereby young, creative, innovative academics are being employed into the system, and they were employed based on the sole purpose of attracting funds to the university? My university was actually created to provide solution to mineral exploration issues here and oil and gas exploration here. So just like the village boy said, universities can have research areas of research focus whereby they will be attracting funds. And these funds can also come from the government. And I think something similar is happening at Covenant University. I saw one of their advertisements where they are looking for graduate students, MSc and PhD students, and they were actually advertising to pay such students. So that is the kind of system that is working here. So if Covenant University can do it, public universities can actually imitate it. But now, what is the investment that the federal government has in the universities, in the Nigerian university? What is the investment? We have outdated technology, we have outdated facilities, microscope, all of those things, they are outdated. So how then do you expect research productivity? How do you expect young scientists to do anything? I know, but when I was doing my undergrad research, I know what my professors and my lecturers are going through, even in their own PhD research. You cannot just walk into the laboratory and make things happen. In that case, there wouldn't be productivity. That is why we cannot have any research products. If we don't have products, there is nothing we want to patent. If we don't have anything to patent, there is no way we can attract funds. So if we want to start creating solutions, then the government should in the first instance invest in the university system. Let them invest. They'll be buying buses. Is bus a research tool? They'll be buying, they will just be saying, we dedicate this buildings without facilities, without, there is nothing for scientists to work with. Science does not work just by the buildings. It takes money to do science. And unfortunately, we need these science people, we need STEM people to actually attract funds to education system in Nigeria. So I don't know, just like the citizen Oluwatoyin say, prayers don't do this thing. It's about willingness. It's about being intentional. It's about doing it the right way. And of course, if we don't have the right people there, how do we have right things done? So I am actually supporting all of the things that people have said. Yes, we need to get things right. Well, I think we should start with getting the right people in office. We need to start with that. And we should get serious with our lives. We should not depend too much on the system, because this system has little to nothing to offer us. So we have to do something for ourselves as well, no matter how bad. So that would be my submission. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Timlani. I was also researching again because I'm researching the the impact of COVID-19 on international students. So I found out that many universities in the West are literally depending on the international students, because especially international students that are coming from India and China, they are the one that is bringing the money. And so that's why you see the schools are always agitating whenever the government is talking about making visa process difficult, because it's like that's their source of ogi, It's just unfortunate. I think our schools have not also gotten to the level of innovation or thinking about what are they contributing, other than just producing graduates in their hundreds who probably cannot also contribute to the society. It's just my own small college here. Go and look all of the roof. If they have their own electricity system. Like 25% of the electricity they manage themselves. So even if there is the government electricity is seized, immediately their own electricity is powered solar, all over the roof from A to Z. When I'm in the library building is very tall. You can see all other buildings, every one of them, including the one of the library also. There is solar panel on all of them. This is a social science institution, so they have what they call outreach. So all these experiences that students are supposed to have, where you need a external agency, they created their own agencies within the college. You need to go for counseling session, they have their own counseling session that is being financed by the government. So it's like just your own innovative business idea. These are things that schools can do these days. Schools are looking for guys that have that intelligent, that can influence the school, influence their students, challenge them and all that. But Nigeria, I don't know, Jerry. As much as you want to blame the government, our professors also they are not doing well.
Yeah, they are incapacitated, just like I said. We cannot totally blame them. They are incapacitated. A professor that does not have the right tools to do research cannot be productive. But then, even the teaching, which is the minimum responsibility that they don't do it well. So we can blame them
What about
partially for that.
innovating? That's what I'm saying. What
Yeah,
about
being
innovating?
creative with
Or
limited
or just
resources,
finding a
no
way
power.
to say,
Let us consider it. Being innovative in such an environment, there is no power, there is nothing, and there is no research tool. My lecturers literally sent their samples to Canada and the US. Imagine, and they are doing all of this research with their money.
oh wow.
So it is literally hard, difficult.
Well,
Some
it
of
go
them are
better.
very lucky to get grants from abroad, and so, it's just a confused society. I don't know. So, so what do you expect? And there is no quality control. Year after each semester, you see universities bringing out survey to students. How did your supervisor, your lecturer, your instructor, how did they perform? The teaching assistant, no matter how small you are in the system, you must be able to. You are accountable. You must be accountable. So you can imagine, I have never received any survey from I sent an email to my university in 2017 when I was about getting my transcript till today, until they will, even if, except if they were going to respond tomorrow. So you can imagine, there is nothing, no accountability, no quality control, nothing. So you don't expect people to flourish in that kind of system.
Me too. I sent at least 10 to 15 emails to Adeyemi in 2020. I didn't get one. I one response. I didn't get till today. Anyway, somebody said I suggest that you always share the advert or link. We will do that. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's my fault. I take the responsibility. We would start doing that from next week. So we put the word out earlier enough. So thank you very much for those who have contributed tonight. I thought we were going to close earlier, but then it is well with us. It is well with Nigeria. Somebody will say it is not well. Anyway, hope is the commodity. So let's hope that it works. So thank you very much. We'll be here again next week to discuss another topic that has to do with Nigeria and Nigerians. Till then, thank you very much for accommodating us. Bye bye.